Today, the topic of my talk is mindfulness and workplace happiness. From this module, you are going to learn what is mindfulness, neuroscience of mindfulness, mindfulness as a potent tool to enhance workplace happiness, and at the end, I will run a brief mindfulness practice. Mindfulness is an important component of self-compassion and care. As the sayings go, everything we do can be done better from the place of relaxation, and our ability to generate output is directly proportional to our ability to relax. Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, and mindfulness is an important way of getting to know yourself. So, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment non-judgmentally. There has been tremendous increase in neuroscientific research showing the benefits of mindfulness. As you can see in the graph, back in 1970s, there were only handful of studies done on meditation or mindfulness. And in the year 2016, the number of articles on mindfulness rose to 1113 and the number has been increasing since. Today I want to bring your attention on few aspects where neuroscience shows the benefit of mindfulness. So basically there are two mental states. Either there is mindfulness or mindlessness. What happens when we have a wandering mind, when we have thoughts going on and on in circle, and we are not and these are usually related to something we have done in the past or we are planning to do in the future, and sometimes these thoughts lead to impulsive reaction, and these are the midline structure in the brain called medial prefrontal cortex and interior cingulate cortex, which are activated when we have wandering mind. As opposed to this, when we have restful mind, it's the lateral part in our brain called dorsolateral prefrontal cortex which is activated, and it has a very calming effect. Next, I want to talk about reward-based learning, which forms the basis of all our habits or even addiction. So what happens whenever we have a feeling of dis-ease or discomfort and we are not quite sure from where it's coming from, these triggers leads to a behavior which releases dopamine, and dopamine is the part of reward system in our brain, and our mind tends to remember this experience in the form of memory. So next time if we want to feel good again or we want to avoid negative feeling, our mind presents the same option and we repeat the same behavior over and over again. So remembering that every time we get angry, we get better at being angry, and every time we get anxious, we get better at being anxious, because practice does make perfect by reinforcing the neuronal synaptic network that underlie our conditioned or habitual responses. And without mindfulness or awareness, it becomes increasingly difficult to disentangle from these habits. Next, I want to talk about telomeres. The ends of DNA of all our cells are covered by protective sheath of proteins, and they are like plastic tips of shoelaces which protect them from fraying or wearing down. And the strong telomeres help us to live younger, longer, and healthier. And there are certain behaviors we can do to keep our telomeres strong. like eating healthy food, having good sleep, doing regular exercise, and also meditation or mindfulness help us to keep our telomeres strong. Moving on to workplace happiness, mindfulness has the capacity to create balance between work and well being. We, the human being, have the capacity to stabilize our attention and dwell in the space of non-reactive awareness, which help us to relax when work gets stressful. Help us to make clearer choices, communicate effectively. Basically, it reveals our option to us so that we feel open minded, interested, and curious in what we are doing, which in turn help us to trust others and become trustworthy. Feeling good about what we do depends on our moment to moment experience, and mindfulness tells us that it is possible to be committed without being consumed by our work, because emotions and happiness are motor qualities which can be trained, and mindfulness is a relational quality which depends not only what's going on around us but also how we are reacting to it or relating to it. Our mind takes the shape of what we rest our attention on through the process of neuroplasticity, and this process continues throughout our lifespan. So basically, what happens is, with open attention and awareness of our own thoughts as well as what's going on around us, help our brain cells to prime together. And neuroscience tells us that neurons, when fired together, they wire together. And through the through the practice of mindfulness, it is possible to strengthen interconnectivity among different parts of our brain, which leads to better decision making, memory, and emotional flexibility. Multitasking. Never in history has the human brain been asked to track so many information all at once. And multitasking is actually switching back and forth between different tasks, and it involves complex process of disengaging one set of neurons and activating another set of neurons, taking 50% longer and making 50% more errors. However, it releases dopamine, and in dopamine rush, we don't even realize the mistakes we are making. It gives the illusion of productivity while reducing focus and performance. It releases stress hormone, which impairs short-term memory and cause long-term health problems. So what do we do instead? Remembering to ask ourselves, what's the most important task right now, and wait for the response. Take frequent break at regular interval, which sharpen our attention and makes us more flexible. Mindfulness can also help us to create a culture of wellness at our workplace by making a list of stressors at our workplace, and also making a list of coping skills, and then reviewing the list of skills, because some may be causing more harm than peace. For example, if our coping skill is spending time on social media or playing video games or watching TV, maybe the better options are talking to family and friends, taking a walk in nature, or finding a quiet corner in our workplace. Mindfulness also helps us to create a culture of we versus me, and it comes from the awareness that how many other people are doing their job well in order for me to do my job well, getting inspired by each other, being open to different perspective and listening carefully, and maybe smiling while seeing someone in the hallway will lead to other person to do something nice to the next person they come across and causing a ripple effect at our workplace. Research tells us that when overworked people volunteered their time to help people in need, paradoxically they felt less pressured, less stressed, and more efficient in their work. And finally, meaning forms the basis of our deepest happiness, and some form of meaning is vital to our being happy at work. And meaning can be driven from everything we do, but the point is to infuse our work with our personal goals. And knowing our deeper intention for our work forms the basis of fulfillment. And remembering to bring these value to work and to our life is the key. Now I will run a brief practice and it has three components. First is becoming aware. So please sit comfortably and you can close your eyes or you can place your gaze 5 to 6 feet away from you. And with this, connect with your breathing. Breathing in and out, making sure that breath out is longer than breath in. And with this awareness, ask yourself, what is my experience right now? What are my thoughts, feelings, bodily sensation? And wait for the responses. Acknowledge your thoughts, label your feeling, even if they are unpleasant or unwanted. Notice any pushing away of the experience and soften around it, allowing space for all that shows up in your awareness. Next is gathering your attention. Gently place your full attention to your breathing. Notice each inhalation and each long exhalation. Follow each breath one after another, using your breathing as an anchor into the present moment, tuning into a state of stillness which is always there beneath the superficial thoughts of our busy minds, allowing yourself to come home and meet with yourself and get out of your own way. Finally, expanding your awareness. Sense your field of awareness expanding around you, around your breathing, around your whole self. Notice your posture, how your hands are resting. Notice the meeting of your eyelids. Feel any tension in your neck or in shoulders. Notice how your body is resting on the chair and how the ground is holding your feet. Soften any tension. Befriend all of your sensation. Greet them with kindness and meet them with compassion. And with this expanded awareness, connect with your whole being as if your whole body is breathing as one unit, acknowledging all, encompassing all that is you in the present moment. And with this, I end my talk and please open your eyes. Thank you so much.